The divisibility argument. What he's trying to prove is that the mind and the body are two distinct substances. So because he's a dualist, they believe that the mind and body are separate. So his argument states that the body is extended, so it has a size and takes up space, and it has literal parts that can be divided. However, the mind has no literal parts and isn't extended, and it can't be divided. And according to Leibniz's law of indiscernibility of identicals, if x and y are the same, then they have the same properties. Therefore, if x and y have different properties, they aren't the same. But because the mind and body have different properties, they have to be different substances according to Leibniz's argument, Leibniz's law. This argument comes with a few problems. So the first one is that the mind can be divided because of mental illnesses. So for example, if someone has the multiple personality disorder, it suggests that the mind can be divided, so that part of Descartes' argument is wrong.
The conceivability argument. The conceivability argument is an argument that proves that the mind and body can exist independently of one another. The argument goes, I have a clear and distinct idea of myself as something that thinks and isn't extended. I have a clear and distinct idea of my body as something that exists and isn't extended. If I have a clear and distinct thought of something, God can create it in a way that corresponds to my thought. Therefore, God can create the mind that thinks and the body is something, and both of them exist without being extended. Therefore, the mind and the body can exist independently of one another. Therefore, the mind and body are two distinct substances. So what Descartes is saying here is the fact that he can conceive of the mind and the body existing without one another, it means that it's possible for them to exist independently. And the reason why is because he has this clear and distinct idea of them doing so. However, the problems with this argument is that not everything that is conceivable is possible, because although Descartes argues that it is possible because he can conceive them, his conception of the mind and body could be wrong. There's a possibility of them being wrong, which would mean that it is impossible for it to exist separately from the body. Also, there's nothing in the concept of the mind and the body that opposes each other or contradicts each other. So it doesn't mean that the mind and body can't exist together. And also, just because it is logically possible for the mind and body to be separate substances, it doesn't show that they are separate substances.
No, no, hey.